coaches and play. Yeah, come on up to the podium. Congratulations on a great season, and yeah, I'd love to hear some highlights.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank the school board and Dr. Collier for taking the time tonight to recognize this group, this special group, obviously. I remember before the first practice, the coaches and I all spoke for a couple minutes to the team, and we told them, what a special group that we had, and the opportunity was out there to do something pretty amazing. They started off 14-4, went through a little rough stretch. We lost 4 games in a short period of time, but these guys responded well to those challenges. Ended up sweeping Hayden, a rival, to not only clinch the league, but the ability to host regionals on our home field, and won those 2 games, took that momentum going into the state tournament, and got the opportunity to square off with another league opponent in the first round. And then from there, we played Mays in the semifinals, a team that only lost 2 games at that point. They hadn't lost to a team out of the state of Kansas yet. Pretty close game, 1-1 in the 5th, and then we got some runs in the 5th and 6th to break it open, and then carried that momentum right into the championship game. Got 3 runs in the 1st, 1 in the 4th, and hung on there in the 7th, and so those guys did, in fact, achieve something pretty amazing. So something that hasn't been accomplished here in over 70 years. So a lot to be proud of, and very fortunate to have this coaching staff back here behind me, instrumental in these guys' development and practice planning and in-game strategies, and fortunate to be able to coach a group like this who plays the game the right way. They played hard. They competed. They had fun along the way, and again, they responded to those challenges and won a state title. So very proud of these guys.
Well, hearty congratulations to all of you, to players, to coaching staff. It certainly is an accomplishment you're going to remember for a lifetime, no doubt. That happens through focus and hard work, and had the opportunity to also view some interviews after the accomplishment, and you accepted that and handled yourselves with class and represented your coaches, your high school and the district very well, and couldn't ask for anything more than that. So congratulations. I know Senator Dietrich is here, and so we invite her forward to assist with, I believe, reading of a proclamation for your accomplishment, and then we'll make sure we get a good picture of you all.
Sure. Well, thank you all so much for letting me come to your board meeting and interrupt all the festivities this way. But I do have a Senate tribute for the team that I'm going to leave with the coach, and it's framed. And for those of you who've seen me do this before, I also have a tribute for each one of the players and your managers and coaches. So I'll just give that to you if I might. You might want to come up here, though, with me.
Okay.
So this tribute says, and I honestly cannot believe how long it's been since we won a baseball championship. I'm thinking, oh, it couldn't have been that long. I mean, I was here for so many years. I've been retired for 11. And I'm like, are you sure we didn't win one since 1950, what, 2? Yeah, that's older than I am. So that's it says, probably older than most of you in this room, I would think, right? So, and you guys, you're way too young to even think about 1952. So it says 22-26 6A baseball state champions. Be it hereby known to all that this is official recognition extended to Washburn High School baseball team. You secured the first state title in baseball in 74 years in a thrilling game on May 30th, 2026 in Wichita. Do you remember it? Do you remember it? Yeah. Okay. It says this championship team finished their historic 2026 campaign with a 22, did you already say this, to 8 record. Am I right?
Yes.
22 to 8?
Yep.
Okay. You defeated the number 4 seed, the number 1 seed, and then the number 2 seed to win the title. It's an extraordinarily talented team. You showed such strong determination to win, and you also won the Centennial League title, and your coach was the 6A State Coach of the Year. So congratulations. Wonderful. So congratulations to Coach Maston and the team. And I would also like to invite you to the Capitol to be recognized on the floor of the Senate and the floor of the House in January. How many of you are seniors? You're probably going off somewhere, aren't you? But you might be back for winter break. And so we go back in session on January 11th, and so I'd like to squeeze you in, if it's okay with your coach and your high school administration, even though they're not the boss of you anymore, to come back and do that before you go back to college, if that's where you're coming from. So do you think you might like to do that? It's kind of fun, get a lot of recognition, a lot of people stand up and applaud you, and okay, all right, well, we'll talk about that, or you can talk to your coach about that. So congratulations, you've all got tributes, individual tributes, and I'm going to give this to Coach Maston. Congratulations.
I think coaches, if you would like to join your players, and Dr. Dietrich, you're welcome to grab a photo here with them.
Doesn't normally go. Normally the superintendent goes. Good, Brad. You're a rep, man. You're a guy tonight. So this is how it goes. This is how it goes with all the sports. Cheer comes up, they all know where to stand. It's so funny to watch them when they win some competition. They get up somewhere running in circles.
You can do this with your hair. They all have
I had a mullet. It may have had just in the back lurking.
Okay, so here real quick, and then we'll stand to my left. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay?
I made way too many of these pictures. Was it from the parents over there? Yeah.
You ever up at the courthouse?
Very exciting.
Third floor. That's awesome. That's all.
Used to sitting
Forever.
by you usually.
Jessica, there's no shame up here. Just. And we have the 100-meter dash champion. What the hey, man?
All right, thanks again all, and congrats. Big accomplishment. And next we have the recognition of Christian Hartman-Babb, who was the 6A state champion in the 100-meter dash.
Nice.
Was it 12.59? Is that what I heard?
Or 10?
10.59?
10.59.
It's like, whoa.
That's what he
Seconds.
runs.
He got 2 seconds off quickly. Good job. That was
how he-
mine, was the 12.9.
Now he walks to the refrigerator. Not me.
Awesome.
But
Yeah,
congratulations, and thanks for joining us tonight.
yeah. Thanks for having us. It's cool. So the baseball team, when they won their state championship, we were just a parking lot away at the Wichita State track, where Christian had one of the greatest days in my short coaching career, but also a great day to sum up his impact on the school and its history. Christian, 6A state champion. Last year, he was the first man out of the finals. I remember having a conversation with him, let's come back and win it. And this dude puts in more work than most people, and earned his state championship. It was a sweet day. Definitely earned it. It was really cool. He actually was also the runner-up of the 200-meter, which is, to me, actually probably a little cooler of a story. He ended up tying a guy. It was 0.004 seconds. So the guy did technically beat him, but it was a sweet race. There was a couple thunderstorms, so he had to warm up a couple times. But it just shows you who Christian is as an athlete. Dude wins a state championship and then comes back and almost wins another 0.004 seconds away. That's insane. Never seen something like that. He also has a ton of other impressive statistics I thought I would just run through. He set 3 school records this year. One of them was the 100-meter dash. He ran 10.36. That school record was set in 1985. His 200-meter record, 21.4, that was set in 1991. And then he was part of a 4x1 team where they set a school record of 42.77. That was also a 1985 school record. So this dude's not only just a state champ, but impacted the track team in its history. After state, he qualified in the 100 and 200 to go to the national meet. It's not school regulated, but Nike puts on this national meet. He goes there and takes 6th place in the nation, which is super cool. He actually, if you don't know how track works, the fastest heat is the last heat. They rank people. He actually wasn't in the fast heat and ended up, pushing from the second heat and ended up taking 6th. So he beat people in the heat ahead of him. Super cool story. You don't see that. And because of that, he actually went the whole season all the way to the national championship and never lost a 100 meter. So undefeated season there. So excited to see what Christian continues to do. He's only a junior. So yeah, great season. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You two certainly set a standard, an example of focus. It seems that the word endurance is applicable in this situation too. So we hope that you have much pride in yourself, and certainly the school is very proud of you, as is the district. So congratulations. I think we're going to snap some photos with you too. Oh, so sorry. Senator Dietrich, thank you.
Another proclamation.
This is pretty exciting. Can I see your driver's license? Congratulations. So
He was
I've
on the
got a
52
junior
baseball
as
team.
well, and we will take a picture in just a minute.
Sounds good.
But you're only a junior. What are you
Yes.
going to do as a senior? Have you thought about that?
No.
Well, this is a Kansas Senate tribute. Be it hereby known to all that Christian Hartman Babb, in recognition of 2026 Class 6A 100-meter dash state championship. So we talk about you being only a junior and that you won the Class 6A state title in the 100-meter dash, again, on May 30th. That was a great day for Washburn Rural, wasn't it? And for you personally, yes. 2026 in Wichita. Impressive time. You were considerably faster than the rest of the field. You had the fastest time across all classifications. That's amazing. That truly is amazing. In addition to that state win, you set several new records that you just heard your coach talk about. There's no doubt you solidified yourself as Kansas's top high school sprinter. But you can do better next year, can't you? You did a great job. You should be so proud of yourself. Congratulations to Christian and a state championship win. Congratulations, Christian.
Thank you.
I was not a runner, so I admire runners.
You're done? So conspicuous.
I move that we get a photo board.
Yeah, over there. Yeah. I'll second that.
It
was worse when I sat over there. So, yeah, well, yeah, just put like your head. Or you show up like between the people. Are you photobombing them? No, that was my seat. See you, Steve. Congratulations, ma'am. I know.
All right, next we have Rich Jones with our school bus safety competition awards.
Oh, I thought that was the 20th.
Oh,
Okay, then we'll do it.
Let's get- yep,
We'll
okay.
do it the next time.
okay.
I
Not a
told them the
problem.
20th. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Not a problem.
And it looks like everybody has exited from the forum, so we'll go get started to the regular meeting. I do not see any public comments at this time. Dr. Collier, do we?
No.
Okay. Seeing no public comments, we'll go ahead and open the meeting with the roll call. I'll ask, tonight, we have 5 members present, and Mr. Wiltz and Shanoa absent tonight. And at this time, I'll ask for approval of the agenda.
Mr. President, I would move that we approve the agenda for tonight.
I'll second.
All those in favor? And all opposed? Okay, we have approval of the agenda. And tonight is the organization of the board meeting for the agenda, and I would ask if there is a nomination.
Yes, I'm honored to nominate Brad Noller as president of the Board of Education, and I would so move.
Okay,
I'll second.
and all in favor? And all opposed? Okay, guess I'll step over to the seat this year. Thank you, everybody, for the confidence. And at this time, we have the election of the vice president. I would like to nominate Joe Fall for vice president of the board.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Yep, you have to do it, Joe. All right, and we have Joe Fall slated as the vice president. And then the appointment of the clerk of the board. In accordance with the state statute, the first meeting in July, the board shall appoint the board clerk of the board to serve a term of 1 year until a successor is appointed. The clerk shall not be a member of the board and shall not be the same person as the superintendent of schools or treasurer. Do we have a motion for this?
Yeah, I would move that Rochelle Height be appointed clerk of the board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? And anyone opposed? Okay. We have the appointment of the clerk of the board. And there are times when the clerk of the board may be absent for a board meeting. The co-deputy will assume the duties if needed to arise. Do we have a motion for that?
I'd move that Jessica Roberts and Chelsea Schwarzkopf be appointed co-deputy clerk.
Second.
All right,
Second.
all in favor? All those opposed? And it passes 5-0. And in accordance with the state statute, the first meeting shall appoint a treasurer of the board to serve a term for 1 year. And do we have a motion for that?
I'd move that we appoint Brett Bauer as treasurer of the board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, that motion passes 5-0. There may be instances where the treasurer is unable to complete his or her duties due to extraordinary circumstances. The deputy treasurer will assume that if needed to be arise. Do we have a motion for that?
I'd move that Patty Clarkston be appointed deputy treasurer of the board.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. And all in favor for that? Anyone opposed? And we have 5-0 on that. And pursuant to the state there you go, Joe.
Want me to take these? Should we read the whole statement or just the motion?
The statement.
Read the appointment of hearing officer pursuant to the state statute regarding suspension and expulsion of pupils, USD 437, Board of Education appoints a person to serve as hearing officer. I move that the executive director of learning services be designated as hearing officer with authority to delegate this responsibility to others.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
Designation of depositories. Silver Lake Bank be the primary official depository for all district monies, and that Core First Bank and Trust, Equity Bank, Capital Federal Bank, Landmark National Bank, UMB, Sunflower Bank, US Bank, and Kansas State Municipal Investment Pool also be designated as official depositories for district monies, also for the protection of people making deposits and the security of funds, that they be authorized to make deposits in other closer banks with such funds to be transferred monthly to the official depository. So move.
I'll second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Designate official newspaper. State statute requires that the proposed budget be published in at least one issue of a weekly or daily newspaper having general circulation within the county, that the publication shall contain a notice of hearing to be held on such budget, and that publication shall be made not less than 10 days prior to the date of said hearing. I move that the Topeka Capital Journal be designated the district's official newspaper.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Select board meeting dates and times. Resolution, be it resolved by the Board of Education of Unified School District number 437, Shawnee County, State of Kansas. This resolution is adopted pursuant to and in compliance with state statute. The board shall meet at least once a month. The regular meetings of the board shall be as published below. The regular meetings shall be at 6:30 p.m. and the place of the regular meeting shall be at the Schuler Education Center, 5928 Southwest 53rd Street, Topeka, Kansas. The Board of Education reserves the right to adjourn any regular meeting to another time and place. So move.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Appoint authorized representative for district school reports. State and federal reports require the signature of someone designated by the board. I move Dr. Kathleen Collier be designated the board's representative for official school reports.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Appoint official spokesperson. The past several years, the board has designated the board president as the official spokesperson for the board. Having only one person to speak for the board seems to work well. Usually, any communication with the news media has been done by the board president or the superintendent. I move the president of the board be designated the official spokesperson in conjunction with the superintendent of schools.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
According to state statute, the board may be provided legal counsel at district expense. I move Leslie M. Miller and Stevens and Brand LLP be appointed Board of Education attorney.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed?
Next.
All right. Motion passes 5-0.
Pursuant to the state statute, which allows school boards to adopt separate resolutions specifying general purpose for which a petty cash fund is to be established, the amount of money to be maintained in the fund up to $1,500 maximum, and the school district employee responsible for administrating the fund. I move that the Board of Education approve establishing petty cash funds as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? And motion passes 5-0.
I move that Brett Bauer be designated as the Kansas Public Employees Retirement System agent.
Second.
A motion second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
I move the Executive Director of Learning Services be designated the Compliance Coordinator for federal anti-discrimination laws, including Title 6, Title 7, Title 9, and Section 504.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
I move that Rich Jones be appointed to the district's hearing office, to be the appointed district hearing officer for free and reduced price meal application appeals.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
I move that Stan Vallis be appointed to the district food service representative.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
321, designate individuals with authority to suspend or expel students per student handbooks. The suggested individuals in the Auburn-Washburn Unified School District who have the authority to suspend or expel students are listed below.
All right, those designated in the agenda. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I would move that the individual be approved as written in the board materials.
Okay, apologize, yeah. We have a motion. Second. All in favor? All right, motion passes 5-0.
Pursuant to state statute, each Board of Education must designate one or more employees who shall be responsible for reporting to the Department of Children and Families all cases of children who are less than 13 years of age and not attending school. Designated employees must also report to the appropriate county or district attorney all cases of children who are 13 or more years of age but less than 18 years of age and not attending school. The suggested individuals in the Auburn-Washburn district to be appointed are in the published list. I move to approve the published list.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
The Shawnee County Emergency Communications Division of Emergency Management would like us to appoint a contact person for the emergency information system in Shawnee County. I move Rich Jones be appointed to the contact for our district to the emergency information system.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
In accordance with the Kansas Open Records Act, we are to appoint a Freedom of Information Officer. I move Dr. Kathleen Collier be appointed the Freedom of Information Officer and that the cost to get copies of the public documents will be 10 cents per page plus postage as an appropriate hourly rate of pay to collect public documents requested.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
I move Board Clerk, Deputy Clerk, and all building principals be appointed as the custodians of records.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
I move Brett Bauer, Executive Director of Business Services, be appointed purchasing agent.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
I move Casey Johnson and Shanoa Emery be appointed as the official contact persons for the Government Relations Representative position.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
3.28, designate Foundation BOE representative. I move that Brad Noller and Jamie Stafford be designated as the Foundation BOE representatives.
I have a
I'll
motion.
second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
3.29, appointment of BOE members for negotiations team. I would move that Brian Smith, Jeremy Wiltz, and Brad Noller be appointed as the BOE representatives for the negotiations team.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Anyone opposed?
3.30,
No. Motion passes 5-0.
appoint BOE members for budget subcommittee. I would move that Brian Smith, Shanoa Emery, and Joe Fall be appointed as the BOE representatives for the budget subcommittee.
Second.
Motion to second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? All right, motion passes 5-0.
3.31, appointment of BOA members for capital outlay subcommittee. I would move that Jeremy Wiltz, Joe Fowle, and Brad Noller be appointed as BOE representatives for the capital outlay subcommittee.
Second.
We have a motion to second. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
3.32, appointment of BOE members for strategic accountability subcommittee. I would move that Brian Smith, Casey Johnson, and Jamie Stafford be appointed as the BOE representatives for the strategic accountability subcommittee.
Second.
A motion to second. All in favor? All opposed? All right, motion passes 5-0.
3.33, appointment of BOE members for internal audit subcommittee. I would move that Brian Smith and Shanoa Emery be appointed as the BOE representatives to the Internal Audit Subcommittee.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Nobody opposed? So motion passes 5-0.
3.34, appointment of BOE members for Personnel Subcommittee. I would move that Brian Smith, Joe Fall, and Jamie Stafford be appointed as the BOE representatives for the Personnel Subcommittee.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor? And no one opposed, so we have 5-0.
3.35, appointment of BOE members for Employee Benefits Subcommittee. I'd move that Brad Noller and Casey Johnson be appointed as the BOE representatives for the Employee Benefits Subcommittee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor? And no one opposed, so 5-0. Okay. And next, we have the minutes from the June 15th, 2026 meeting. We have a motion to accept those.
I would move the Board of Education approve the minutes for the June 15, 2026 meeting.
Second.
Do I have a motion for other business by consent?
We need to take a vote.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. All in favor on the minutes? And no opposition, so 5-0. And now we do have business by consent,
Let me look here, where are we at? We are on,
402.
We need to approve the total bills.
yeah, 402, I would move the Board of Education approve the payment of bills in the amount of $17,756,712.54.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? All right, no opposition, so 5-0. And we go down to administrator reports for some bond construction updates.
Sure. Can I,
Sorry.
just so we have the record clear, could I at least make a motion that we approve the remaining items under
Oh, I'm sorry.
disposition
Oh,
by
okay.
consent,
Yes.
which would be 4.03, 4.04, 4.05, 4.06, 4.07, 4.08,
I apologize.
4.09 as stated in the agenda. I would move.
Okay. Do you have a second? Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor? One opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Sorry about that.
Usually we have those bundled as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Motion.
that's why I cleaned them all up. So we have a vote.
Okay, thank you. All right, now administrator reports.
This evening, we have a report from Rich Jones, excuse me, who's going to provide an update on all the work that's been taking place this summer related to our bond project. So, Rich?
We've got 3 of the bond projects that are our final 3. We've got Auburn, Pauline South, and Wanamaker that are currently under construction, all moving along nicely. Just like with all of our construction, there's been a few hiccups here and there, but contractors and subcontractors have worked to take care of that. So we're on target for a finish this summer on everything. We currently have the fire marshal occupancy inspections for Auburn and Pauline South scheduled for July 30th. And for Wanamaker, August 4th. So we'll be down to the wire on that, but everybody's pretty confident that we can make it. We did run into one slight issue at Pauline South with the roof drains, which were similar to what we ran into at Pauline Central. So we have to make a little adjustment and replace a small section of roof over there. Not anything like what we did at Central, but just similar, and it was something that wasn't seen until we started doing it. So we have that. The new gym floor started last week at Auburn. That'll finish this week, so they'll have a new gym floor in. Painting and sheetrock finishes are going on at Auburn and Pauline South already. They start this week at Wanamaker, so a lot of good progress happening. I don't see anything to be concerned about or worried about at this time. Other than we'll have teachers that want to get in early, and we'll just have to work with them and make sure that we can get everything done so that they can get in time.
And of course, it's always nice when we return for a new school year and parents and community members are able to see the work that was done because of the commitment and the generosity of the support of our community for the bond projects. And board will work with you to find some time for some tours so you can see that work firsthand. So Rich, thank you.
Rich, would we, we've got a pretty packed schedule between now and trying to get in the school, but I would like it to be on your radar when it's completed, these projects, where we can maybe do a little, even one night where we meet at one place at, 5 and the next one at 5:30 and just do quick walkthroughs just so we could, because we'll be done, right? With the whole $145 million, it's now out of the ground and ready for use by the time we get all these things completed.
Right.
I think it'd be really cool for the board to see that, and that way we know kind of where the last little pieces of this.
I agree. Are you thinking you'd want to see these last three projects, or I was planning to try to put something together for all of the buildings for the board, but we could do the last three projects and then look at something for the rest of the district.
I think it would be, since we have such a board full of newer members, I think it'd be great for everybody to get a little bit of a tour that says, here are the things we did, because it's been going on now for several years. And I personally I'll reach out to you, and I'd like to see the last little bits of these pieces, because this has been one of my goals on the board, is to see it done, I mean, what a great feeling, a good job overseeing this. I mean, I know it hasn't been easy necessarily, but you sure helped make it look easy. You know what I mean? And that's a compliment to everybody from you and your team down on that. So I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We'll just hope for no more torrential rains or 80-mile winds till.
Yeah, right. It's been a little wet, so some of the outside work isn't quite done yet.
Sure.
The heat the next few days ought to help that.
For sure, work that the community can be proud of, and the best part there is that our students are getting to enjoy all of it. So that's great. Thank you, Rich.
Anything else on the administrative reports?
No, nothing else in reports tonight.
Okay. Then we'll go under 6.01, items for discussion.
I will go ahead and turn the baton over here to Brett Bauer to talk about our financial audit for 2025, and I know we have a special guest. So Brett?
Yeah, so we have Cynthia Darting with us this evening to present the 2025 audit, a name that's probably familiar to most. A new name that we are all still learning a bit is Swindoll, Jansen, Hawk, and Lloyd. So Burbridge Strahan, which you may be more familiar with, has been our longtime auditor, and they were merged, acquired, effective with January 1, 2026. So I'll turn it over to Cynthia to discuss the audit.
Sounds good. All right. Good evening, everyone. You should have a couple of packets in front of you, or a couple of documents in front of you. One is a smaller one titled The Report to the Board of Education, and the other one is titled Financial Statements. I'm going to be using the smaller one for the majority of my presentation, so you want to have that one in front of you, The Report to the Board of Education. So let's turn to page 1 of that document, and that's where I'm going to begin my presentation. I'll give everybody a little bit of a chance to get there. All right, so I'm going to start out by talking about our responsibilities for the fiscal year 25 audit. Our responsibility was to perform an audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards. Those standards require that we plan and perform our audit to obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements given to us by the district at the beginning of the audit were not materially misstated. We also assess the accounting policies and practices used by management, as well as any significant estimates that might be present in those financial statements. I do want to point out we also performed an audit in accordance with what we call government auditing standards, or Yellow Book or GAS. Those are all terms that you might have heard. And we did that because the district expended more than $750,000 $250,000 in federal money. And so there was a single audit performed. And so we performed not only a financial audit, but also a single audit for fiscal year 25. And really the ultimate goal of every audit is to render an opinion on those financial statements. And I'm pleased to report that we rendered an unmodified opinion on the financial statements, which is the highest level of opinion that can be given to a set of financial statements. And that opinion, if you want to see, is in the actual other document on page 1. So if you turn to that page 1 of the other document, that's where our independent auditor's report is sitting, because this is the actual audit report itself, but the opinion sits in page 1. And that's where we rendered that unmodified opinion. I also want to have you turn to page 59 in that same audit report, all the way back to 59. And that is the opinion, that's where our opinion on the single audit sits. So that's where we rendered that opinion on the federal programs operated by the district. And we also rendered an unmodified opinion on that major program, or on the 2 major programs we selected. And I also, well, just for a little bit, just one more page here in the audit report on page 55, I always like to bring this up or point this out to boards that have an entity that did have a federal or a single audit performed. This is the schedule of findings and question costs on page 55. It's a nice summary of both the financial and the single audit. And if we had had written findings, that would be showing here in this page. And you'll notice that there were no findings for the financial audit or the single audit to report to the board. All right. Okay, so let's go back to that report to the Board of Education, the smaller packet on page 1. We'll go back to page 1. I also want to talk about the accounting policies and practices. I mentioned it briefly at the beginning of my presentation. There could be circumstances where management could select alternative accounting practices, and if that had happened, we would be required to bring that to your attention, and I'm pleased to report that there are no items to bring to your attention tonight. The adoption of or change in accounting policies or practices, usually in this section, something is reported here if there's a new auditing standard or accounting standard issued that was implemented, and there were no such items for fiscal year 25. The next 2 areas, same goes for any significant accounting policies that would have been considered controversial or any significant unusual transactions. There are no such items to bring to your attention tonight. Management's estimates, I also mentioned this briefly at the beginning of my presentation. If there are estimates in a financial statement or in a disclosure, which is the case for the district, we are required to bring that to your attention. And there was one, and it's actually in this packet too on page 5. If you go to page 5, it does talk about the estimate. The district's financial statements are on a modified accrual basis, but there is a footnote that talks about the net pension liability for capers. That is considered an estimate, even though it's not recorded in the financial statements. It is disclosed in the financial statements or in the footnotes. All right, and we did conclude that the estimation process used by the district was reasonable. All right, if you turn back to page 2 of the report to the board, audit adjustments. When we are presented with the trial balance at the beginning of the audit, if there are any adjustments that we make to that trial balance, we are required to bring those to your attention. And there were a couple of them that are, and they are in this packet at the very back. These are standard entries that are made because of cash, management laws. And so these were expected. They've been made in the past, and so that we do want to present those as entries that we did make. Not considered significant. Uncorrected misstatements, back on page 2. If we had had an uncorrected misstatement, which is simply an entry that was passed on because of it was not significant in quantitative or qualitative purposes, we would be required to bring that to your attention, and there were no uncorrected misstatements. The departures from the audit standard report, that just talks about how the district is on a KMAG. You follow KMAG, which is the municipal audit guide for the state of Kansas, and that is not GAAP, which is generally accepted accounting principles. And so our opinion did note that it was the basis of accounting used was not GAAP, and that we rendered our opinion based on the KMAG basis of accounting. Following along the observations about the audit process, if we had had any disagreements with management, any consultations with other accountants, any significant issues discussed with management, any significant difficulties encountered in performing the audit, or any matters that we had to consult outside of our firm, we would be required to bring that to your attention. And I'm pleased to report there are no items in those areas to talk about. The next section talks about independence. We are required to be independent in order to perform the independent audit. And this is not new to practice, but it is being emphasized more, and so that's why we included it in this report. I'm not going to go through each of these bullets, but essentially it talks about what the auditor, us, and the auditee, the district, must do in order for independence to be maintained. And so we present that just for additional information. The final item I want to talk about is the management's representation letter. It's also included right behind page 5. And a management's representation letter is a significant communication between us and our client or the auditee. And what this management's representation letter does is it puts into writing all of the matters that management is required to represent back to us as the independent auditors. And when this letter is signed, it's an indication to us as auditors that the audit is ready to go to final form. We present this letter to you in this packet because we feel that by reading this letter, it does help you understand the financial statements in the audit report better, which helps you fulfill your fiduciary responsibilities for the financial statements as governing board members. All right. Are there any questions before I conclude my presentation? All right. Well, in conclusion, I want to thank Brett and Scott and, their whole team, for helping us throughout the audit. It's not easy, an audit, can take a long time, and there's a lot of work that's done back and forth, and we want to thank them for their help and express our appreciation. And with that, I conclude my presentation.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your evening.
Appreciate your patience.
Oh, yes.
Very lot to celebrate tonight. and,
Yes. All right. Yes, thank you all. Good luck.
Right. And next we have 6.02, Classified Combined Employee Handbook, first read with Chelsea.
Yes, avoided that last name.
Schwarzkopf.
Schwarzkopf, yes. So I'll lean on the change summary form to initially start here, but this is an annual review. I coordinate for the classified side of the house to make sure that our handbook is reflective of our current practices and just is user-friendly and all of the things we want it to be as we head into the next school year. There's a lot of just organization and verbiage, but I think I would point out the big things might be just that we made sure that the maternity, paternity leave is in there as it is for the certified staff as well. I think that was the intent, was to run that parallel. And then we changed our work comp provider to Stormont Vale, so that work comp section looks really red, but it's just because the address changes and the name changes and using a different service provider there. Otherwise, there's a lot of little things I could point at, but I didn't know if you might have any questions after your review over the past week.
I might point out that Chelsea did a good job of summarizing those changes, otherwise non-substantive changes for you to review prior to request for approval next month. So thank you, Chelsea, for your time on that.
All right, thank you. Okay, and we have board policy updates. Dr. Collier?
Board policy KG has previously been discussed. It is included in your list of new board policies for approval this evening. Again, board policy KG revisions. There are some minor grammatical changes and some statement that brings the board in alignment with staff. In KG, this would be considered phase 1 of review of board policy KG. So that's all I have on that.
Okay, thank you. And 6.04, Special Board of Education meeting.
This evening, as you're aware, we will be asking you to approve a special Board of Education meeting on July 18th with the purpose of that being personnel matter related to performance and agreement with your new superintendent.
Perfect, look forward to that. Okay, and we will switch over to action item 7.01. Special board meeting, Board of Education meeting, July 18th, 2026.
I move that the Board of Education to approve the Special Board of Education meeting July 18th.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor? With no one opposed, motion passes 5-0. Now 7.02, the 2025 financial audit. Do we have any questions or comments on that before we?
If there are no questions or comments, I'd move the Board of Education to approve the 2025 financial audit as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? And motion passes 5-0. And recommendation for unified communication platforms.
I move that the Board of Education to approve PowerSquare as a unified communication platform as presented.
Second.
I just need to make, it's actually Parent Square, but you read it right, but it's wrong in here, so it's
I
Parent
move that the
Square.
Board of Education to approve ParentSquare as a united, as a unified communications platform as presented.
I'll
You just-
second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0.
I might note there, just thanks to Jessica and other related team members for that. That's a big project. We'll be having more communication, probably through Parent Square, to our families and staff. That'll be a significant change here at the beginning of the year. Just want to thank the team for their due diligence to ensure we can launch that smoothly for our families and students, so.
When will that launch?
What's that?
When will that launch?
So it's gonna come out in phases. So we're gonna focus on coaches and activity sponsors first. That's the primary two-way communication piece with students that we have to address immediately. So we are working with Parent Square. We had our kickoff meeting last week, and we're having weekly meetings with them to finalize the timeline for phase 1. But the hope is that it would be implemented and in place middle of August for coaches and activity sponsors. And then we're gonna do the phased rollout for all teachers and the rest of staff. So that's gonna take a little bit longer, trying to get 1,000 people up and running on that system. So hopefully by the end of the first semester.
We'll
But
keep,
again, we're,
Downloading it now.
oh, fantastic.
There you go, Joe.
Our data,
On it.
they have our data, so the process has started,
Yeah,
so,
great.
Thank you for that, added.
yes.
Phil. Okay, and we will go to section 704, updated new board policies, final read.
I would move the Board of Education to approve the updated and new board policies as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. And 7.05 is year-end transfer 2026-2027.
Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, go ahead, Casey. You got it.
I move that the Board of Education authorize year-end closeout and transfers for the 2027 as needed, with the final amounts to be shared at the July 20th, 2026 Board of Education meeting.
Second.
And we have motion and a second. All in favor? And with no one opposed, motion will pass 5-0. And,
no additional communication items this evening.
okay, perfect. And then, at this time, at 7:23, the chair would move to go to an executive session at 7:23 for 10 minutes to discuss students pursuant to the exception relating to the actions of adversely or favorably affecting a student under coma, personnel matters pursuant to the exception of non-elected personnel under coma, and discuss budget pursuant to the exception for employer-employee negotiations under coma for 10 minutes.
Second.
And we'll resume at 7:34.
Second.
Okay. Motion second, all in favor? And no one opposed? So 5-0, go to executive session.